Well, hello everybody. It is Friday morning, and that means another DNA Dennis and Andy Show movie review. We didn't see a movie in the theaters last night, even though I was at Dennis's place. His TV is huge, and he likes the sound turned up. So I felt like I was in the theater, except I didn't have a big bucket of popcorn and a big soda next to me. But I did spill the food I had in the seats and not tell anyone like I do in the theater. So there's a little surprise for you in that chair, Dennis. Um, might want to clean
Oh,
that up.
it's a good thing it's my wife's chair. She'll fix
Oh, even better. So she's used to sitting in sticky stuff. I got it. Anyhow, we watched Lady Ballers. Lady Ballers is from the Daily Wire, and this is their first not first movie. They've done a couple we've already watched, but their first comedic outing. And the movie actually stars one of the big dogs at Daily Wire, Jeremy Boring. I don't know if he's ever acted before, but so it stars him. It stars a couple other guys from a Daily Wire show called Crain and Company, which is their sports type show, and and it has nice cameos from other Daily Wire podcasters, news hosts, and such. What's this movie about, Dennis?
So this one, you guys, I would just recommend seeing the trailer because the trailer will really sum up this movie. Um, Coach Rob, played by Jeremy Boring, is really a down on his luck former high school basketball coach who took his team to the championship with a great speech, but will do anything to win, kind of recouping that magic he had from years ago. But in order to do that, that means he must lead his team of men to don wigs and brutally dominate in multiple women's sports because that is the way of the future where men can be great at all things women.
Yep, the movie starts like Dennis said in 2008 at a championship game, and then it fast forward to 2023 where the coach is now working at like a rec center and trying to teach these teenagers that just don't care at all. And he gets fired from the rec center because when the kids are leaving, he makes a crack about how about not stealing my catalytic converter again. And uh, he was told by the boss on the phone who's firing him that he can't say that because it's racist, even though the teenage boys at the youth center were white, black, it was mixed. It wasn't like it
And
was,
they literally had stolen his
and
catalytic
they literally
converter
did steal his,
multiple
right,
times.
multiple times. So there's that. And then he brought up something about religion, and you can't do that anymore. So that was another reason he got fired. Um, and yeah, the guy's down on his luck. He is divorced. He has a probably 7-year-old daughter. His wife is in a new relationship with a very how would you describe him?
We'll call him very Zen soy Matt Walsh.
Yes. Oh, well, the character is played by Matt Walsh, but in the front yard of this couple's house, they have every flag, every sign that you can think of, imaginable in their front yard that you see in yards today, but just the yard is just littered with them. So the coach needs a job. He goes back to this store that he used to work at, and he says, when I left here, they said I could come back anytime. Of course, that was 15 years ago or 25 years ago. I'm sorry,
25. It was a career
25
change.
years ago when the coach was, basically a teenager. Um, and he's talking to the woman behind the counter, and he's like, "So this isn't the CD record store anymore?" And she goes, "It hasn't been for 24 years." So it changed a year after he left. She's more than happy to give him a job, and you find out It's basically, I guess you could say, a fetish type restaurant where all the waiters, waitresses are guys dressed up in drag.
It's like a drag bar
Yeah.
restaurant kind of thing, and and he finds one of his old players there, and they wind up reconnecting, and they start reminiscing about the good old days, and how to become a winner, and that's really what it was all about. And in the end, they start realizing, they have something called the global games because they can't call it the Olympics, apparently. So they're like, well, we could win this money in track and field. It was $5,000. And they do. They go through it because you can race against women. And his daughter's the one who kind of brings him up to speed on what you can say. And he winds up getting this brilliant idea to get the team back together and go to the global games with his former basketball team that now, they think they're ladies, and that's what they say. So they identify as ladies, and it snowballs from there into all the other sports, swimming and shot put, track and field.
Wrestling.
Oh, all of it. And they have some pretty good scenes throughout, with each of those different sports.
Yeah, and we're not going to do spoiler review like we usually do, but we'll just give you an overall flavor of the movie. And the flavor of the movie, honestly, really reminded me of movies from the 80s, Porky's, and this isn't rated R, so there's not like there's nudity or anything. It's a PG-13, but they're just the type of humor really reminds me of back in the 80s, non-PC type humor. The jokes, we were both laughing out loud at a few of the jokes and stuff. I mean, I had a really fun time watching this movie because it was back in the day, and this show would never happen today, of like a bosom buddies. You remember that show, Tom Hanks, and then of course
Yeah.
the other guy whose name nobody remembers. But they needed a place to live, so they got an apartment at a complex. It was women only, and they got it because they dressed up like women, and it was called Bosom Buddies. Great show, could never be made today. This movie does obviously poke fun at a lot of the left leanings that are just pretty ridiculous today. There's a scene when the coach is picking up his daughter from school, and like I said, she's like 7-8 years old, and she gets in the car and she says something about her teacher, Miss whatever her name is, having a penis. And he turns around, he's like, what? So you mean he? And the daughter's like, no, she. Women can have penises. And it's just this funny back and forth. They really, and just, one, you could call this, I guess, a spoiler. It's not a huge one. The whole way they get into the idea of we can get the guys back together and have them identify as women for this global games is the coach meets up with his ex-student at the drag bar. They go to this track and field competition, and he totally intends to have his ex-student race as a man. But when they show up at the track and field, the guy is coming from work. So he has his clothes on to run, but he still has his wig on. So Jeremy Boring's character walks up to register, and the woman sitting behind the table doing the registration has, the support, trans women buttons on and all this stuff. And she just looks at him with such contempt and says, nope, you're late. Can't register you. Too bad. Bye-bye. You're out of here. And then basically when his former student walks up, not realizing he still has the wig on, the registration woman does a total 180, and she's like, oh my God, you're so brave. And oh, you're just so brave. Of course you can run and you can register. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And that's when the light bulb goes off, and he races as a woman
You know,
against the
yeah.
other women.
The one thing that this movie is unapologetic, taking on, topics.
Right.
They were talking, the one lady's talking to, she's triple mask. I can't understand you. She pulls a mask to reveal another mask. I still can't understand you. And she pulls another mask off. So, they touch with that. They touch on the sports. They really take a dig into both Bud Light, Dylan Mulvaney, Disney. You know, they really just touch on a lot of the topics that you would expect from the Daily Wire. Um, going into TikTok stars, dealing with social media. So like I said, they're
Cancel culture.
unapologetic about what they're trying to do. There is definitely agenda in this movie, which I guess you would fully expect being from the Daily Wire. And Andy was right. There were I just want a good movie, and it definitely had its moments where it had some great funny moments out there, but it also had missteps. There were some things that really fell flat, and you know they're covering the same topics. I'm just going to say before we get to the grades and stuff, South Park did it better and on all
Sure.
aspects. And I had low expectations with this movie. I was hoping this would deliver. It did deliver on many levels, but not all levels. But all in all, I think it was. I think it was an enjoyable movie. Now, if you are constantly a single mind and you're not open, you will not like this movie just because of the topics that are addressed. But comedy should be, and it is always subjective, comedy should be something in the eye of the beholder. You're either going to laugh or you're not. And I really think there is enough to laugh if you're open minded in this than there was. So overall, I thought this was a pretty fun film.
All right, then. Well, let's just get right into the meat and potatoes of the CGC grade that we always give the films. Go right ahead.
I am giving this one a 6.5. I walked into it with pretty low expectations. It more than met the expectations. I did laugh quite a bit. I enjoyed some of the takes that they went. The swimming, kind of poking on the Leah Thompson swimming against girls. The shot put scene, being a shot putter myself, I just laughed out loud because of the absurdity of everything in it. The wrestling scene, again, pure absurdity, and that's what it was. Overall, I just think this movie had more pluses than minuses overall. And I was going to say the reporter, which we didn't touch on at all, Billie Rae Brandt, she plays Gwen. She was amazing. She was great as the evil reporter, I guess, going in. But I found out this was her first acting gig, period. And actually, I thought she was the star of from an acting performance.
Yeah, she did a really good job. I'm giving it a 7.0, so we're not far off. I was really thinking about a 6.5, but it's not that huge of a difference, but I'll kick it up to the 7.0. Yeah, I mean, I thought overall I had a good time watching it. Like I said, it felt like a 1980s comedy that just didn't give two shits about being politically correct. And of course, like Dennis said, it's the Daily Wire, so you know where it's going to lean. Yeah, I thought even the guys, the three main basketball players that do that show, Crain and Company, the sports show on the Daily Wire, two of the guys are actual brothers.
Yep.
If they're not, their names are just spelled the same, last names, and they both played sports. So did the other guy, David. Oh damn, what's his? You have it up there by any chance?
Oh, I can pull it up.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. It was it Brian?
Considine.
What was it, David?
He's the one who plays Alex Cruz, the big guy.
No. What's the other guy's name? The other tall guy, David, that they found in the woods, living in the woods.
Oh, David Cohn.
Yeah, David Cohn. He's part of that Crain and Company show as well. And obviously, he's a tall guy. All three of these guys played sports and stuff, obviously. So that's why they host the sports show. So yeah, I thought they did a great job for really, not being actors. Anyhow, yeah, I thought it was fun. I give it a 7.0. If you don't subscribe to the Daily Wire, is it worth paying the year subscription? Yeah, obviously probably not, because you're paying what, 75, 80 bucks. I don't know what, whatever it is, just to watch one movie. But if you like that content and stuff, then, you probably wouldn't mind subscribing to their, it's not a channel, service anyhow, because they do offer a lot of stuff.
And
So that,
we have reviewed some of their other movies,
yeah,
the Gina Carano movie, and that was a solid movie. So, they are attempting to put out, content that is quite different from Hollywood, and I would say succeeding on
yeah,
it. So, um, Rotten Tomatoes. This is what I was a bit curious about to see what it was going to be like. So the critics give it a 60%. But there's only 5 reviews. The
yeah,
critics are not wanting to review this because you either review it and you're going to get probably hit no matter what. So that is interesting. The audience, there's a very high audience participation rate, and it's giving it a surprising 91%. I'm going to say a lot of them are probably daily subscriber viewers, but needless to say, the audience is liking it. And on IMDb, which is pretty much across the board, they're giving it a 6.3. I typically say that they're about a point lower on everything. So, with that being said, they're kind of in the range of where you and I are.
yeah, there you go. And what is also in range? Nice and tight. The comic book pencil art of Andy Smith. That's me. And in range is we're at $5,730 for this art book. Something I've never crowdfunded before and want to give it a shot. And 72 backers, and only $270 away from the magical 6,000, which gets another 4 pages added to the book. So it went from 52 pages of beautiful lush pencils I've done in my career to 60 pages. Now, when we hit $6,000, 64 pages, oversized book. It's stapled, not square bound, so you can lay it flat to take in all the artwork on every page, featuring pencils from some of my past favorite jobs that only the inker or editor have ever seen before. Now you can see them, you can try to learn from them, pencil technique, pencil rendering techniques, things like that. Look at the storytelling. Also, it comes in a digital format, so if you want to download it and look at it on your tablet and zoom in and stuff, you can. Or maybe import the pages into one of your favorite programs like Photoshop or Clip Studio, so you can practice your inking, whether you just want to ink yourself or ink other people. Inking other pencilers is always a good lesson and tool to utilize to help with the craft. So guys, go check this out. The link is in the description below. I do a 2-hour art lesson. That's a tier that you can get that is only $125 until Christmas. Then it goes back to the $175 price, which is still left or lower than the normal price of $250, where for 2 hours, I'll go over your work one-on-one, answer any questions, draw over your stuff. And when it's over, you get the video so you can replay it anytime, and any of the draw over stuff I did in Photoshop. So guys, go check that out. Thank you for watching us. We will be back next Wednesday doing from a bar here in Charlotte, drinking with some buddies, because a bunch of you guys that back Cordrath bought us that tier of buy Andy and Dennis a beer. And now we're going to take those funds and buy ourselves some beer, live stream, have a fun little hangout on the Wednesday before Christmas. We hope you'll join us for that. Is there a movie review next week? Hopefully so, because there is a couple movies that are coming out, and we're going to pick one to go see and review for the last review before Christmas comes. So thank you for joining us, and we'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye, everybody. Nice and Tight, the comic book pencil art of Andy Smith. That's me. This book features 52 pages of some of my favorite full pencils that I did for other companies over the past 2 decades. The raw pencils as they were seen by the inker, and now you can see them for the first time. This book also comes in a digital format so you can practice your inking in your favorite program. Back it today.